Good evening and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the second installment of No VAR Just Vibes. I'm KJB, and in the hot seat with me is
Matt, and for the next 90 minutes, alongside Ken, we are going to be talking about the playing surfaces at the World Cup. There's been a bit of controversy on how the pitches are handling. FIFA's been saying that everything's all hunky-dory on these football pitches, everything's fine, nothing to worry about, just play the football. In the second instalment, we're going to be talking about the hydration breaks. It's been making lots of news back here in the UK, and I'm sure it's been making the news worldwide, and we'll be talking that in more depth. The third thing is Portugal's Cristiano Ronaldo. Whether Portugal need him or not, we'll be talking about that in further detail. It's important that you have your say as well, viewers, listeners around the world, about Ronaldo, whether they need him in the team or not. And the fourth thing is Team of the Week. Like the players that have stood out in Match Day 2. We're excluding the Match Day 1, we're talking about Match Day 2. All the nations in the 48 Team World Cup has talked about the players that have been involved. And the last thing of all, my favourite thing of the week, is Plonker of the Week. We've got quite a few outstanding candidates for Plonker of the Week. Ken?
Yes, thank you very much, Matt, for the rundown. We do welcome all you listeners on the talk, in the chat room, even your silent listeners. If you're hearing us for the first time, we do appreciate it, and thank you very much for sharing this evening with us, this 90-minute show. I hope you enjoy it. So we're going to go straight into our first segment, which is the football pitches. FIFA have been kind of taken to task by some of the players about the services, especially in the States, the pitches in the States. There's been some criticism from the players regarding the quality. One of the stadiums is the New Jersey Stadium for the tournament. It's already had matches played on it. I think Brazil's played on it. France has played on it. And it's also going to stage some, I think, the quarterfinals, possibly one of the semi-finals, and maybe including the final. So FIFA is saying the pitches are in excellent condition, but I'm not so sure, because we have a couple of quotes here from very international players. One of them is Vinicius Jr. Matt, what does Vinicius Jr. say about the quality of the pitch?
Yeah, that's a good question, Ken. After Brazil's draw with Morocco in Match Day 1, Vinicius said about the pitches, because of the weather and the intense heat, the grass dries out quickly, and the game ends up being very slow, and we can't build up a rhythm. And I have to agree with him on that, because when I watched that game, because it's in Scotland's group, and I've got a Scottish interest in this group, I saw the game. First half, Morocco started like a house on fire. They were absolutely all over Brazil. They scored, deservedly so. Brazil pegged them back to 1-1 out against the run of play. Second half, it was very drab. It was just nothing happened. The players just ran out of steam from both sides, and no one could build up a rhythm. So I totally agree with Vinicius Jr. Did you see the game, Ken, by any chance?
No, I didn't. Unfortunately, because of work commitments, I didn't actually get to see the Brazil game. But from what you're saying, it seems like there is some issues with the way the pitches are played. Obviously, we know there are different surfaces. We talk about European football, the pitches in the UK. The technology we use is far advanced in the sense that we've been playing. It's such a professional game over here, isn't it? The Premiership, and there's so much money pumped into it, so the grounds have to be at a certain level. But I know that, like for Tottenham, for example, they had loads of injuries. A lot of injuries, didn't they? So a lot of people were saying it might be because of the pitches. They talk about the training facilities, but also the pitch itself was something that was mentioned. So I'm assuming that's the same kind of scenario with what some of these players are saying. Also, there was a French player, Andre Rabiot, sorry, my pronunciation. He actually also made an interesting comment about the pitch.
Yeah, he said that the pitch was, I don't know, even if I could call it that. It seemed more like an artificial pitch. It was hard and rigid, but it's like that for every team. But with what he's been saying, he's just echoing what Vinicius Junior has previously said. And I've noticed on many of these World Cup matches that whenever a player passes it to another teammate, the ball just bobbles up and it's halfway up his chest. And I've noticed it a few times. It's just a simple pass to another defender. It's like 15 yards away, and it seems like the ball control just lets them down. So I think Rabiot and Vinicius Junior are onto something here with the state of the pitches in the USA, not necessarily Canada and Mexico. I don't think there's much complaints in both Canada and Mexico.
No, I agree with you, because when you think about it, the US is not really known for its soccer, and I'm assuming the surfaces would have been kind of mimicked from what maybe the European teams have played on, maybe the South American teams. But I notice as well when they're, especially with the corners, the balls are coming in quite flat. I've seen some of the shooting which has been, very hit. Like normally certain players that are playing in the World Cup are a lot more kind of precise with how they strike the ball, where the ball goes. But I'm seeing people like De Bruyne, certain other players that are known for their footballing brain and the way they strike the ball, and it's like flying over the bar. It's going, it's going into the crowd. There was even in the Ghana game, Harry Kane had an opportunity. I think in the 78th minute.
Yeah,
when the ball. Do you remember when the ball came into the box? And 9 times out of 10, that would have been a goal. But I'm thinking that when he hit it, it's either struck a bubble or the pitch wasn't running true, because he ended up in row like Z.
No, it ended up in my back garden.
Yeah, but please keep the ball.
Yeah, I will. I need to get it autographed by Harry Kane. Yeah. But no, I've seen lots of shots going blazing over the bar. I remember just at the warm up, Morocco against Haiti yesterday. One Moroccan player shot, went over the bar, and it hit a poor Moroccan fan in the nuts. I don't know if I can say that on live right now.
Well,
but,
no, you're talking about the baggy nuts he was holding in his hand, isn't it?
Obviously. No, in his actual cleavage.
Bag of nuts. He had in his hand.
So yeah, it hit him right there, and it was. I don't know where I saw it. It was I think on Instagram somewhere or Facebook or something. And so I don't know if it's the condition of the pitches or the way the balls are made, but the ball seems to be flying over the bar more times than I care to count. Harry Kane doesn't traditionally hit the ball 30 yards over a crossbar, especially when he's so close out. He was only on 6 yards. Just beyond.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I couldn't believe that. I thought, that's not normally. That's not really. And sometimes I'm finding that even with the crosses, normally the ball, it doesn't seem to be running true. The ball's kind of going in 6 yard box, is hitting the first defender. It's like, I don't know whether it's the like you said, the pace of the pitch. It could be the heat as well affecting the surface. I'm not sure, but it doesn't seem to be the pitches don't see, especially in America, don't seem to be as good as possibly they could be. But FIFA, incidentally, have gone on to say, although there's variations in the surface that appear, whether on television or in person, they're saying it does not necessarily reflect the quality, the health and the playability of the pitch. Do you agree with that? Because you're watching, it says on TV, we can't reflect on it as in person because we're not there. We talked last week about the spiraling costs, but it seems like the World Cup seems to be more well supported this week. I'm seeing fuller stadiums, so obviously they might have done something with the ticketing. Hopefully they've reflected on that and they've kind of done something with the prices. But do you agree though with the view of FIFA about the reflecting the reflection of the quality, the health, and obviously the playability of the pitch itself. As you're watching it, do you agree with that, or do you think there is some merit in what those two players have said?
Yeah, it's a tricky one, this, because you can look at it both ways. You can look at it from the FIFA perspective, or you can look at it from the player's perspective. The pitch is, as a fan watching the World Cup, as a fan watching it on live TV, the pitches look fine. But that's us from a broadcast position. So we can't really make a judgment call on that. But it's the players that actually are playing on these football pitches. So they're the ones that can give the expert feedback on what's happening. FIFA are just, I don't think any FIFA personnel are on that pitch making a judgment call on what's suitable, what's playable, what's unplayable. I believe that the only people out of FIFA that are there are the referees. And obviously they're just paid to referee the games. I think they're just there for a payday. I don't think they'll comment on their paymasters FIFA, to be brutally honest. So I believe there's some merit in this from the players because they're the ones that are playing on these pitches every day. And Rabiot of France, Vinicius of Brazil, they're the first two to comment on these pitches, and they're not going to be the last two, Ken. You've seen some World Cup, Ken. Have you noticed on the bobbles, the bobbly ball control and the state of the pitches?
I have noticed that sometimes the ball is not running as quickly as it should be. Sometimes the ball isn't moving where it should be because you can tell because the players having to adjust quite suddenly. As I said, the ball off the surface doesn't seem to be true because it's some of the shots that I've noticed are be going over the bar, around the post, and we're not talking about them being like 60 yards out. We're talking about 25 meters out, 30 meters out. As I said, Harry Kane was, but in saying that, like Mbappe scored an incredible goal the other day. The guy there's someone I think about he got disallowed. It's Uzbekistan. I hope I pronounce against.
That was a really quality goal.
That was a quality goal,
Brilliant
but
goal.
unfortunately, that was against Portugal, obviously, and it got chalked off because obviously the player was offside. But that was a good strike. So. But
there was one from Haiti yesterday, Isidore, I think it was.
I
wasn't watching the game live because I was watching Scotland against Brazil, regrettably.
Yeah.
And then I saw the goal go in. They played it, saying, "Oh, this is now Haiti, Morocco 1, Haiti 2," and the goal that went in was similar to Uzbekistan's goal. Early in the day.
Yeah,
and a well taken goal. Haiti deserves something out of that game.
Yeah, that's the problem. I don't think that's the problem. And FIFA has also gone on to say that although there's parts of the pitch that don't always seem well prepared for a game, they regularly test it. They monitor the pitches. They assess it for moisture levels, firmness, and overall play conditions. So FIFA are saying that no, the pitches are playable. They're fantastic. We've spent a lot of money. We have experts who go out and test it before the game, after the game. They test the moisture levels. They water it. And the play conditions overall are safe and good for the players to play. Talking about this stadium, the New York one, New Jersey Stadium, it says the turf's management teams do a full assessment every time the pitch is played on. It's healthy. It's and the performance is intended for the pitch itself for an elite competition. So that's FIFA's saying. It's interesting that you talked about the game against Brazil and Scotland because you said it was Dawa.
That was Morocco and Brazil.
The first game. How did Scotland? Because I didn't see this. How did Scotland and Brazil get on?
Scotland lost 3-0 yesterday. It was just schoolboy defended by Scotland. They had the ball at their end of the pitch. They tried to play it out, trying to be clever, and they ended up giving 2 goals away for that. They were very fortunate to be 3-0 down at half-time because a similar incident happened. Hendry for Scotland dilly-dallied on the ball, got clipped from behind by Vinicius Junior. And Vinicius Junior, we know what qualities he has as an elite striker. He just buried it in. I was upset at the time. I'm still am now. Got a couple of tears running down my cheek as we speak. But it got ruled out by VAR. It was a foul. A foul's a foul. Yeah. If it leads up to a goal, it's a foul.
Okay.
But Scotland, they huffed and puffed in the second half. Then another goal for Brazil by Cunha. I can't remember how that goal went in because it was about midnight. I was
going to say that's like at that time of night. But do you think just the reason why I'm asking is because you watched the game as much as you could, and you saw obviously you would have seen the plane. Well, you'd have through TV you would have seen how the playing surface would have played for both teams. Do you think it had an effect on the way the game was played from either team? Do you think it did?
Yeah, I feel like it did. I feel like it had some passes are either underhit or overhit. The overhit passes lead to poor ball control, but it comes from the pitch as well. So the pitch is either slowing the ball down. I know there was lots of heavy rain or thunderstorms around Miami. So there might slow the ball down a bit. But yeah, it just seems to be inaccuracies with passing. Just the passing has just not been up to scratch compared to previous World Cups and previous tournaments. I feel like the pitches are not helping the players; they're more hindering the players.
Yeah, do you think so?
Yeah, it's just that the games. I know the hydration break, which we'll talk very soon, doesn't help. But I feel like there's no rhythm to the games. I know we're going to talk about that after the break, but I feel like the way the pitches are played, the players can't get a rhythm. They'll play well for about 5-10 minutes, and then it's like the other team has to attack. It feels like there's no rhythm. There's no we're on top, but then a free kick here, free kick there. The game slows down. I've noticed that some of the games, I don't know if you've seen it as well, Ken, that some of the games are stop-start. The referees are very whistle-happy. I don't know if your viewers or listeners agree with me on that, but I've noticed that everything's a foul. Everything's a foul. But when you watch the Premier League, some of those fouls that you see in the World Cup, they're not fouls. They're not even the referees in the World Cup. They're booking players for absolute nonsensical things.
I agree with you. I think that's to do with a FIFA mandate. I think FIFA has spoken to the referees. This is just my take on it, and they've told the referees we want to stamp out on certain things. Like shirt pulling in the box, cover. Showing card your hand like book this player. So I think there's certain things like dissent. Like they're not having that no more. I just think FIFA are trying to, because some referees have allowed the game to flow. I've seen games when normally in Europe, especially in Europe, it would have been given as a foul. In Champions League, Premiership not so much, but Champions League definitely. But I'm seeing games where sometimes you think, well, that looked like, but they're allowing the course of the game to continue running. So, it swings and roundabouts. I think that, yes, there are times when the referees can be a little bit more lenient, because sometimes players have got a habit of if they get touched, they do go down.
Yeah, I have seen some players throwing themselves on the floor.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Well, at least we know the pitches are soft enough for when they fall down, they're not going to hurt themselves. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Watering of the pitches, it sounds like you're describing Kew Gardens. They water the pitch, they check it every day.
So at least FIFA's got that right. So if you're going to roll over and fall down, good pitches to do that one.
Yeah, I do agree with I like the FIFA, when they count to 5, or count down from 5 down to 0, or count from 0 to 5 about the throw-ons. Because some players take years to throw a ball back onto the pitch.
Yeah.
And I like that. I hope they put that into the Premier League for next season. That's something I do like.
Okay.
Because if they just throw in the domestic leagues, European leagues, The players just like, oh, okay, who do I throw it to? Half a minute later, he's still got the ball in his
He's still got
hands.
the ball in his hands. I think that, again, that's because it allows the speed of the game and interest in the game to flow. Because obviously, if you've paid to go and see a game, you want to see good surfaces, you want to see good pitches. You don't want to see too much time wasting, which we're gonna go on in a minute to talk about a certain part of the game that some are kind of like there's question marks over it. Even the pundits that are not saying, even some of them are not kind of au fait with that rule change. But we'll discuss it in a minute. So that's what they want to see. So I think keep an eye on the playing surfaces, because I think the playing surfaces have had an effect on what we're seeing. Those who understand and have knowledge of a game, of football, would understand that playing surfaces will benefit some teams and maybe not others. So let's keep an eye on the playing surfaces. What we're going to do now, lovely people, listeners, we're going to quickly go to a break, and then we're going to go on to our next section about hydration.
No VAR Just Vibes. We are alive. Living that football life. No VAR Just Vibes. On Allflavasradio, get locked, stay locked.
Allflavasradio.
Hi, we're back again. So we're going to move on swiftly to our next subject, which is our hydration breaks disrupting the flow of matches in the World Cup. What do you think, Matt? What do you think hydration breaks are helping or hindering the games you're watching?
It's very disruptive, these hydration breaks. I am not a fan of them at all, as we were talking during the break. It disrupts the flow. It's very stop-start. I was watching one game. I think it was Germany and was it Ivory Coast. I think it was those two playing against each other. Germany against someone. Someone got injured around the 20th minute. It took about 5 minutes for that injury to treat the player, because the player was really hurt. So then they continued the game for about another 20 to 30 seconds, and then they called a hydration break. And that's the players had a drink in that time, and that player was injured. I mean, common sense should prevail there and say that, look, we've had the hydration break. Let's just play on. It's 20 minutes to half time. But no, the referee decided, no, after 30 seconds, you guys are hot, you're exhausted, let's take a hydration break. So I don't like it, because I'm always looking at minute 23 for the first half, about minute 67 for the second half, and I think it's not for this is not for the players, this hydration break. It's not for the benefit of the players, it's to benefit the advertisers in America, because have you seen the figure? How much profit they have made in those hydration breaks?
Yeah.
It's staggering. It's $230 million. So it's probably more now, because that was 3-4 days ago now where I heard that. What's your take on this hydration break?
Well, it's interesting, because they're saying that the hydration break is not being used primarily for the purpose for which it was introduced. Basically, a lot of the pundits and other people are noticing that it's allowing players to take a water break, yes, in difficult conditions, but what's happening, instead of them using it for a water break, a lot of the managers are using this particular time for tactical switches or tactical instructions, or telling players to slightly play differently. And what that tends to do is change at times the momentum of how a match proceeds.
Yeah, I have to agree. I remember watching Scotland versus Haiti. Scotland started the game well. First 5-10 minutes, Scotland was on top. They hit the post with McTominay. And then Haiti was building into the game from from the 10th minute to the 25th minute. And they looked like they were going to score. In fact, I thought they were going to score if it was for that hydration break. So at the hydration break, Steve Clark reminded the players, look, you need to remember how we got here, what we did to get to this World Cup. And then about 3 3-4 minutes after the hydration break, Scotland went up and scored. And that really changed the momentum of the game because it was against the run of play. Haiti was, I won't say on top, but the game was played mainly in the Scotland half. So, yeah, I think the managers of teams are using that as a mini tactical break to stop the momentum of the other team and to get momentum back on their side.
It's interesting because there was another case of Brazil versus Morocco. Morocco winning. And then hydration break arrived. Carlo Ancelotti went out, talked to certain players, and less than 20 minutes after the restart, 1-1.
Yeah, it was against the run of play. It was a good goal by Vinicius, though. It was a really good individual goal.
It was, but it's interesting. The manager said that he felt that the break aided his team. He saw it as an asset to help control the game. And I think that's the issue now. I think the issue with some pundits, which I understand, is that if you're going to take a hydration break, fine. We understand the heat. You know, even us today, it was like 31, 32 degrees. You have to drink. You have to. Otherwise, you're going to end up passing out on the floor, dehydration. But at the same time, I'm noticing as, you know, the Brazil manager, Ancelotti, that the managers are giving directions to certain players. And the other team are playing well. The momentum is with the other team. But just that little 10-minute break, whatever it is, 5-10 minutes, I think it's 10 minutes.
I think it's 5. They always seem to add on 4 minutes.
Yeah, 4 or 5 minute break can really swing the pendulum to the other team. So, in a way, it gives the other team a break. Yes, we need it, but also an unfair advantage.
It is an unfair advantage. But at the end of the day, Ken, these players are professional athletes, right? They should be able to run all day, be able to play football for extended periods of time. They train on hours on end with their football clubs and now at the World Cup for their countries. They don't need this hydration break. It's frustrating the fans more probably than the players. The fans, they're booing every time there's a hydration break. When England played Ghana a couple of days ago, there was constant boos when the players went off for the first hydration break and they won in the second half. The fans do not like it. The fans think it's just really, really frustrating because it stops the game. But remember, it's for the benefit of these American broadcasters and advertisers so that they can get an extra $230 million.
And we know America is very corporate, so money really is the main crux of what they are doing regarding the World Cup. Everything is a financial gain for them, which is what they want. But obviously, the issue is that sometimes the game is played at a pace. Even I was watching the England-Ghana game, and they weren't exactly going. It was played at a tempo. Don't get me wrong. Some games have been played at a tempo, and I can understand why they would need a break. But there are games that I've seen that the tempo hasn't been absolutely like at full pelt.
It's not. Ghana defended brilliantly that game.
And yeah, Ghana did really well, but
fully deserved the draw.
No, I agree with you. But it was interesting to me that because of the pace of the game and how the game was played, the transitions, did they necessarily need a break? That was my fault, because I was watching the game and I'm not saying it wasn't competitive. Please don't say it. But I don't think it was high intensity to the point where I felt they really needed a break.
It was pedestrian football. It was just walking football. I've seen more movement in watching Sunday League football. It wasn't high intensity as you mentioned, Ken. It wasn't like that at all. It was a match that was like one goal wins it sort of game. Neither side got the victory in the end. But I felt like the game was very slow. I don't know how hot it was there. I forget where they play. I think it was Foxborough in Boston. So I don't know how hot it is over there. Scotland was over there. So yeah, I don't think I don't think they needed it. I don't think they needed the break, the hydration breaks, because the game was played at a slower pace. Maybe the heat was a factor. Maybe the pitch, which we talked on.
We talked about the pitches. Yeah.
Maybe that was a factor as well. But it was just a slow game. It was just a slow game. I was bored stiff, and then these hydration breaks didn't help as well.
And I felt like that with the Ghana game, but that's not the only game that I've been privileged to watch. But I feel not all games have warranted the need for a water break.
Yeah, especially the ones in Canada. I mean, Canada, their temperatures over there is not the same as it is in Mexico or the USA. It's a lot cooler. In fact, it's hotter here in England than it is in Canada. So I think they're just doing it just to keep pace with what America and what Mexico are doing.
So it's interesting because even Virgil van Dijk said the interruptions were frustrating. He was talking about frustrating for supporters who'd be watching, but I'm getting the impression also that the frustration isn't just for the supporters. I think some players are actually getting frustrated as well regarding because if you're a player or a team playing and you know the game is there to be won, and then you're at the point where you know another 10 minutes we're going to get something here, because you can get that impression that you can feel when you watch a game. You can tell momentum for a team does build, and you can see give it another 5-10 minutes and they will possibly make a breakthrough, and then that 5 minute goes and you can see it building, and you another 5, and then suddenly it gets blown and there's a hydration break.
Yes. And the players get then the fans boo, they get frustrated. It's fans all over the world, so it's not just England fans, Scotland fans. It's fans basically from every team that's playing at this World Cup. And I feel the frustration for the fans. I feel the frustration for the players as well. Because if you're on if you're building momentum, as you say, you don't want that hydration break to come. Far from it. You want to press home the advantage and try and get a goal, maybe two, because one goal could lead to two. In games. So. It's these hydration breaks are so frustrating for everyone watching and probably playing as well. I don't know how. I know Pochettino talked about these hydration breaks as well. Yeah, and I've got his quotes here somewhere. He called them they were unnecessary when the conditions were tolerable. So when it's like 15 degrees, for instance, there's no need for a hydration break.
But I guess if you're winning like Germany against Krakow 7-1. For example, or like 4-0, Japan won 4-0, beat Tunisia 4-0, Portugal won 4-0. Was it 5? Wow.
5-0, yeah.
I missed the goal.
I did as well. I must have
already fell asleep. But so if you're a manager and your team is on top in regard like that, then you'll be you won't be as vocal with the breaks. You'll be quite happy because your team is on top. You're at a point where you know the game is, unless something miraculously happens, your team is going to get the points. But when there's a point in the game where it's 0-0 or 1-1 or 1 or 2, whatever the score may be, and you can see your team pushing, and then within the next 5-10 minutes, like we suggested, that next goal is going to come, and then suddenly the ref blows.
Yeah, and it just totally stops all momentum in that game. It really disrupts the flow of the games. Fans get frustrated. I don't know one player that actually likes these hydration breaks unless you're being hounded by the other team. You're under pressure. You're trying not to concede. But Ken, I was just thinking what you said there. Football is a game of two halves, right? Mm-hmm. But is football now a game of 4 quarters?
Well, it's very Americanized, isn't it? Because this is what the Americans do. They have 4 quarters and they have 4 breaks, which I understand because they're playing a different type of sport. They're high intensity, high impact sports. Basketball, American football, hockey, those are high impact sports. Football's a high impact sport, but in a different way. It's more focused on stamina and agility and cardiovascular. But there's tackles, but not to the point of some of the American sports that they're way out there when it comes to the contact sport. So I don't necessarily think it's a game of four halves. What I'm finding, like you said, I think they were introduced, yes, for the health and safety of the players, but like we're saying, there are other factors now that have come to fruition. Like you said, the corporate, the adverts, because as soon as the water breaks on, the adverts come on.
Yeah.
When the water breaks and the teams come back on the pitch, you can see there is the pendulum can change, and you can see the change in how a team plays.
Yeah,
even if it's a 5-minute break, it really can upset a rhythm. So I don't know. I think there's a point here that a listener, Marjak, sent in, and his comment is, hydration breaks should only be for taking on water, not coaches or physios. That's a good point.
It's a good point.
Good point. He goes on to say it's good for smaller teams if they are under it, but this format is definitely to benefit the Americans and follow their format, advertising each quarter. Even he, like you, called it a quarter. So it's interesting the way they've designed the game, because it does mimic how American football and basketball, because basketball has 4 quarters, American football has 4. So they've, so I'm thinking, like the comment says, Marge, thank you for your comment, Marge, much appreciate it. Should it then be just for the players? In the sense that, should the water, like in some sports, the water should be brought on, that the players stay where they are and the water gets brought on?
They do that in cricket. Every 15 overs, there's a drinks break because the hot weather. Yeah. But it's not for every 25 minutes or something like that. But no, I agree with Marjak in terms of it should just be, if it's a hydration break, it should just be a hydration break. No coaches or management personnel should go onto the pitch and say, look, can you push up? Can you overlap your left mid? Mm-hmm. So, for example, just if it's a hydration break, it should just be a hydration break. I'm totally agree with Marjak in that regard. But yeah, I hope this doesn't come into the Premier League. I really hope, because there will be a lot of upset fans in the league season.
Well, we say that, but I got I think as well, another comment, another thought I had on it before we're going to move on. But I thought, should it not be game by game basis? Should it be the point where, if the temperature is such that it's going to impact on the health and safety of the players at some point, should you then think, all right, they can have one break, maybe? Yeah, give them a break. Give them a 5-minute break, but they can have one, because the temperature is going to be at this point, but as the game goes on, it's going to, it's going to be more, as you said, it's going to be more comfortable for them to play in. So would they necessarily need a break? Do you know what I mean? Is it, or should some games not have a break because of the time they're playing? How what do you think about that? Just it should be game by game.
I do agree with that. I don't think it should be 5 minutes. I think it should be like they have 1 minute to have a drink, because it shouldn't take 5 minutes to have a drink of water. Take a couple of sips and then back on the pitch. I think 1 minute is probably perfect. The players come off, they run off to their technical areas. Managers cannot. I'll use Marjak's comment, which I really appreciate. No tactics, no nothing. No managers is allowed to talk to the players. If they do, they get a yellow card. It should be 1 minute. Minute is on the big screen. When it goes down to 0, players back on. You add an extra 1 minute for that stoppage. Everyone's happy. The fans won't be annoyed, because it's just a 1 minute break, and the game can go a lot smoother. But I think something like if it's like 28 degrees or higher, or something around that temperature, yes, have a drinks break for that 1 minute. If it's something lower than 25, for example, no, because the players should be okay to deal with 25 degree heat.
And I think that is a great point. I think there are times, like we're suggesting, that it's important to let the game play. And I think with the drinks breaks, the game's being played. But then, like I said, if your team, although you might be drawing a game, you might be winning 1-0, and then the advantage is with you. As soon as that break comes, it can change suddenly. And that's what I find, not on all games, because the more advanced teams, like we talked about Germany, France, there's some teams that have enough ability to manage a game. But there are some teams that welcome the break because it allows them to regroup and redress. So I think it's not benefiting everybody. And I think it's important for them to reflect on that. I think drinks breaks are here to stay. I think possibly they will be introduced at some point in possibly Champions League. Maybe they might start in South America. They'll try it somewhere, but I guarantee it will come. There's been another couple of comments. It says, Marge comes back and says, can you say that the heat is an advantage to non-European teams? Interesting point. If so, then the water break definitely is needed to make the game fairer. So I think the heat is an advantage to some teams. I don't know how you feel. What do you feel? Do you think the heat is a disadvantage to some teams, an advantage to some teams? When you look at the World Cup so far, when you watch the games that you've watched?
Saying that though, South America took a while for their teams to actually win a game at the World Cup. Because I think on match day 1, or the first group games, Brazil drew with Morocco, Ecuador lost, I believe. Argentina drew with, I forgot who they drew with, but I think they drew with someone, didn't they? Colombia, I think, lost their first. No, sorry, they won. I think they won their first game. So yeah, but it took them about 3-4 games for the South American team to actually win a game, and that's where it's at its hottest. Yeah, I think it took Europe to win a game. It was actually Scotland that won the first game from a European country.
Yes.
And that was on day 3. Czech Republic didn't win. They lost to, I think, Canada, I believe.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, they did.
And then Bosnia lost as well. I forgot who they lose to. No, sorry, I think Czech Republic lost to Mexico, if I remember rightly. It was Czech Republic that lost to... So, yeah, I think because these players travel around the world now, they do pre-season tours of Australia and other countries, and they do the World Club Cup or Club World Cup, whatever they call it these days. And so these players should be used to it. The Premier League players, European players, that compete in the Champions League year in, year out, they should be used to these conditions. I don't think it favours one continent over another. But it just comes down to pitches, who's best equipped to deal with the heat, and... yeah, it comes down to a strong bench. We talked about France. You talked about France and Germany. 2 strong sides. They've got 2 strong benches. So it's just who knows. It's just basically who wins this World Cup comes to the fact that who deals with their benches the best, who helps, who can contribute off the bench to make an impact. And
I think also it's who acclimatizes better to the conditions.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. So that's brilliant. Just before we move on, we're just going to go into the chat room. We're thankful for all the silent listeners who might be on, all those on other devices. We're just going to go to the chat room and just big up everybody. We do appreciate it. This is our second session, so thank you for hanging on in there with us. George Flavor, the captain of the ship, we do appreciate that. I hope you're doing well and the family's good, George. Norbit. From Castries, we got Wimbo from, where are you from this time? From Hayes this time. We got Guest 476, Guest 702. Thank you all for listening and staying with us. What we're going to do quickly is go to a break, and then we're going to talk about CR7. Who's CR7? Join us after the break and find out.
The people All station. All Flavors Radio.
No VAR!
So we're back again. Welcome back on the other side. The next line of subject is Mr. CR7 himself. And who is CR7, Matt? Who are we talking about?
Oh, it's the one and only, Ken. Cristiano Ronaldo. I remember his first match when I was about, 12 years old. Showing my age here. Funny enough, I remember watching him when Southend United played them at Roots Hall in around 2006, 2007. Alex Ferguson was the manager. They had Wayne Rooney.
Wow.
I think they had Paul Scholes, Rio Ferdinand, who played very well for England, capped many times for England, and then Ronaldo himself. And Southend was bottom of the Championship, and Premier League Man United were top of the league by a long way, and Southend actually won the game 1-0. And I remember seeing that game. I was there, and Ronaldo was largely ineffective.
Well, and that's why we're talking about him now, because I know he scored a couple against Uzbekistan. Oh my word, put my teeth in. It's interesting. Uzbekistan are ranked 58th when I checked. I don't know if that's the correct standings, but their standing was 58. It's interesting. Ghana was 64. I'm like, that doesn't look right. I think they've gone down or gone up. But yeah, ranked 58 in the world. Did you know any of the players that they were? Had you heard of any of their players prior to the game? Yeah.
Short answer, no. But no, they got them on merit. Congratulations to Uzbekistan for reaching World Cup finals. It's an achievement that shouldn't be knocked. They're there. They qualified outright through their governing body for their continent or their FIFA association. And yeah, maybe this World Cup is a big gap too far for them to make an impact. I know they lost 3-1 to Colombia the game before, so they've played 2 games, lost both games, scored 1 and conceded 8 goals. So
welcome to the World Cup, Matt. Welcome to the World Cup.
There you go.
That's how it goes. But I've brought up Ronaldo just because at the age of 41 and how many months, he's the oldest player in the tournament. Yeah. The first game was dire. It was against DR Congo. Big up the African contingent. The teams, they're all doing very well. But he really struggled in the first game. I watched him in the Uzbekistan game, and yeah, he scored a couple goals, don't get me wrong. He still got a little bit about him. But do you think Portugal play necessarily the same type of game if he wasn't playing?
I think there would be more freedom in the Portugal team if he wasn't playing. I think the players would have an opportunity to step out of his shadow, because I know he has such a big impact. Like, everyone knows Ronaldo. Everyone globally, he's a household name. Everyone in every house in the world, they know Cristiano Ronaldo. So those players for Portugal, they know that if he's not in the squad, it's like, oh, it's an opportunity for me to make a name for myself. I can put myself on a similar pedestal as Ronaldo. So it gives them an opportunity to show them what they're about. And I don't have to pass to Ronaldo now. I can pass to another player, because I feel like everything has to go through him, through Ronaldo. In some ways, it reminds me of Kane when he played for Tottenham. When he was playing for us, for Tottenham Hotspur, every goal or assist, Kane would be involved in some way. But then when he got injured, I remember when he got injured for Spurs, he was out for about 6 weeks, 7 weeks, maybe a little bit longer. Spurs actually played better without him. I remember watching Tottenham against Millwall. I know Millwall were not the best sides in the world, but Spurs were 0-0 with Millwall. Struggled to break down the Millwall defence. They were defending well at that point. Kane got injured after about 10 minutes. He got substituted, and then I forget who came on for him. It's so long ago. It's about 10 years ago now. And then Spurs went on to win 6-0 without Kane. And the Spurs just look like a different animal on that pitch. And maybe that's what Portugal is like when they without Ronaldo.
Because it's interesting because he's had an illustrious career, fantastic career. There's no doubt in his ability. There's no doubt in wherever he's gone, he's been a winner. Do you know what I mean? Whoever he's played for, he's always been a winner. He's always been dedicated. He loves the game. And supporters love him. But I think every player has a time.
Yeah, I don't think his time's up yet. He's still, as you say, I'm not saying he's got another World Cup in him because he'll be 45 then. And I'll be well into my 40s then. That shows my age. But no, I think that he's still got another year, maybe 2 left in him because he's a peak, high. He's a highly skilled athlete. His fitness. I wish I have his fitness. I'm younger than him, and my fitness is lousy. So he's still got it. He's still got it about him. Obviously, he's lost that yard of pace due to age, but that ability, the intelligence of Ronaldo, is still there. He can still make things happen. So there's still lots of gas in the tank for him.
It's just an interesting point because do you think at his age, at 41, would you see him more has 2 schools of thought? Like you said, he's still got a little bit about him. Do you still think he's a 90-minute player? 90-minute plus player, or do you feel that he would be better served as a impact player?
I think it depends on the opponents. I believe he's got 70 minutes per match, maybe a little bit long, maybe a little bit more because of these hydration breaks. So I believe that he's still got a lot of ability. He still can make an impact. He started the Uzbekistan game, and did you know, Kane, during that game, when it went 2, maybe 3-0 up, he had the least amount of touches for Portugal. He scored 2 goals, but do you know how many touches he had? 5.
5 touches.
5 touches in that first half. We know when it went 3-0 to Portugal. Only the goalkeeper for Portugal had the same amount. Everyone else had more touches than Ronaldo. So, if you score 2 goals, it doesn't matter what you do with those other touches. It's like you're known for those 2 goals. You'll remember them 2 goals. So he's still got it. He's still got that intelligence. He's still got that football brain, and you'll never lose that as a player.
Yeah, but you got to think about the opposition he was playing against. He didn't need that many touches because he said he's got the legs around him. But as the tournament progresses, they're going to come up against teams who are highly competitive like they are, but maybe have a little bit more about them in regards of skill and ability. I'm talking about the Germanys, the Englands, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The French, possibly Norway. There are teams that are looking good. Even USA are not looking too bad. They're looking quite healthy. So they're going to be teams that they may come up against. And this is why I say, do you feel that as the tournament progresses, he'll have an impact?
I think time will tell. I think he's still getting used to conditions in America. I think the first game against Congo, I think every team was just trying to find their feet, just trying to acclimatise to the climate. I know to the conditions. The teams did have a warm-up game prior to this World Cup, which is fair, but it's not. I think those games, those friendly matches that whoever they play against, is just to get minutes under their belt and not to get injured. That's the purpose of a friendly. Don't get injured in this warm-up game because you don't want to be compromised for the World Cup. So I think he's just trying to find, needs time to bed himself in. Time will tell if he manages to get the games against the higher quality of opposition. We don't know who they're going to play in the last round of 32. It depends where they finish in the group. I don't know if I haven't seen their group. I don't know where they're at in their group. I think they got 3 points against Uzbekistan. I don't know what they did in the other game. They drew. So they're on 4 points. So potentially, if they win, they will win their group and play a third place team. Failure to win that game, second or third.
It's pot luck, isn't it? If they're second, you're not sure who they're going to play. But that's interesting. I just feel that Ronaldo at the moment, he looks his age. in the sense that the way he's playing. I'm not saying that he doesn't have the ability still, because he's got the brain. You can't play at that level. His fifth World Cup, and he got picked because of the way he's been playing, although he's playing in Saudi, which is a different type of league to Europe and the British League. But he's still got the ability. But I think as the tournament progresses, I don't know if he's going to have that impact. I really don't.
Yeah, I think it just comes down to what happens on the day. They could get a favourable draw against a team in round of 32, then another tie in the round of 16. So I think it's too early to judge him in this World Cup because they've only played 2 games. I know he had a better game against Uzbekistan, and as you say, no disrespect to Uzbekistan, but they're minnows compared to Portugal. So the tougher test to come. Ronaldo knows that in himself. So I wouldn't write him off just yet. He's one of those players that write him off at your peril.
I don't know. We've got Marjek's come back with a comment about what we're talking about regarding Portugal, and he says, I think Portugal need new blood. It will force creativity. Portugal with Ronaldo is like 11 men off the ball. He does nothing. Hey, this is just his view. I understand what he's saying. It says, plus they put him above all the other players, which you said other players sometimes don't necessarily play out of themselves because of the way he plays. They're kind of more fitting around how he is more than they're still playing the natural game, but it's more cohesive around. And he's the pinnacle. He's the top. He's the talisman. He's the talisman in that sense. He says, when you look at players, he talks about, look at how Argentina, has a team with Messi. You can tell the team are losing respect for him. Oh, because when you
strong words.
No, but I agree what he's saying. He says off the ball, it's more important than on the ball in the high level games, which I said will he have an impact as tournament progresses. And it's interesting, he made a point about how Argentina play with Messi, because Messi's 40, only a year behind. But I've seen Argentina play, and I don't know how you feel, but Argentina are more cohesive, even with Messi in it. They're not playing for Messi, they're playing with Messi. That's the difference I'm seeing. I know Portugal have won, they've drawn and they've won, and it seems like they are a cohesive team. But I find with Ronaldo, there are some aspects of their game that as the tournament progresses, they will struggle if they keep him in the side. But I don't know how you feel.
Yeah, I think it's too early to judge. They've only had two competitive games at this World Cup. I think we should have to see what he does, what will help Portugal get on in the third game, because they need a result in that third game. Otherwise, they're going to be facing the runners-up in another group or the group winners from another group. So I think it's too early to write him off just yet. I think he's still got something.
You're sitting on the fence, Matt. You're sitting on the fence.
I know, it's the first time I've done it on this show, and I'm sitting on the fence. But no, I think some footballers, most football teams, they get judged too early. They sometimes...
You can't be saying he's 41. You can't be... I'm not judging him on his previous performances up to this point, because as I said, he's been a phenomenal player, don't get me wrong. And I have nothing but the utmost respect for what he's done for the game and how he's conducted himself throughout his career. But I just think at this stage, the manager has to make a decision. I think the manager's been a bit scared to put in fresh blood, to say, you know what, Uzbekistan, yes, we need the win. put him on for 60, whatever, gets a couple goals, take him off. Put new blood on. Get them integrated into the team. But I find the longer they allow him to be the 90-minute man, the main focal point, I think as I said, I believe as the tournament progresses, they will struggle. They will.
Yeah, I guess my follow-up question to that, and I'd like to ask Marjack if he's listening. Who would you put in his place, or what attacking lineup would you go for? Like the attacking trio, would you go for? So if it's like a 4-3-3, who would you have it with Ronaldo? So if you're looking to replace Ronaldo, or not, like
I never said replace him.
It does sound like they can.
No, I just think Portugal must have more options. You can't pick a World Cup squad and not feel you have the options if one player is not in the side. It's like, yes, Ronaldo's in the side, but you got younger players who are chomping at the bit to come on, but because of his reputation and what he brings to the game, you're scared to give let other people off the reins and give him a shot. He's 41. He won't be at the next World Cup.
Stranger things have happened, Ken.
No, he won't be at the next World Cup. The Euros have to come. Do
you reckon he can make that?
No, I don't think.
43.
I think he'll be good around the Portugal squad because he's got great skills, attributes, abilities that can help other players to progress. Do you know what I mean? But I think the time is right to kind of scale down how much he's played. Not to say he won't have an impact at some point during the tournament, because you never know. As you said, you never know. But I think the time is right not to put him out the pasture, but to reduce how much impact he has on the squad and now other players.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
To come through.
I still believe that Ronaldo still has something to offer this Portugal team. I know he's 41 years of age. And, we got another comment from Marjack. Good evening to you, young man, kind sir. So, yeah, he wants Rafael Leao to be left wing. He was linked with Spurs, did you know, Ken?
Yeah,
but
course.
I think that's gone cold due to this World Cup. I don't think he's been picked for Portugal, unless I'm mistaken. He wants Gonzalo Ramos to be the striker, and then Bernardo Silva or Francisco Conceição. Was Conceição related to? He was in the Spanish team in the early 2000s? Wasn't there a Fabio Conceição?
Someone. Yeah,
I think there wasn't there a brother as well?
Yeah, possibly.
Football runs in the family there.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
has to be.
Yeah, Marja, that's very good points there you made there. I like Leo. I'm a big fan of his.
There you go.
I urge caution on like with Ronaldo. I think he's still got something about him. 5 touches, 2 goals. I still think that if you play the ball to Ronaldo, he can make something happen because he's still got those attributes to create something out of nothing.
I think that very much depends on the level of team they're playing. Uzbekistan, no disrespect to them, are not at the levels of some of the other teams that are going to progress into the round of 16, the quarters. So I don't know about that. There's João Felix as well, which Margaret mentioned. So I think there are players that, if given the opportunity, could possibly surprise Portugal. But that remains to be seen, isn't it? So
sure thing.
Ronaldo is an enigma.
Yeah,
he's still very much a part of the conversation for Portugal, and I'm sure he'll have an impact on the World Cup. Okay, now time is that's the time where time is catching up with us. Now we're going to our most important part of the week, or the section, should I say, for us, Plonker or Plonkers of the week. So we have 3 contenders. So Matt, would you like to let the listeners know who contender 1 is?
Okay. Okay, contender number one, or nominee number one, is the Tunisian Football Association for sacking their manager after their 5-1 loss to Sweden last week, and then losing another game 4-0 to Japan with a new manager in charge. So my question to you, Ken, is this manager going to be sacked before match day 3? Or what do you take on that? Do you feel the Tunisian Football Association know what they're doing, or they've just been absolute plonkers when it comes to running their Tunisian football team? Because at this moment in time, the people that are suffering are the good people of Tunisia who's gone to America or Canada or Mexico. I don't know where they're playing in this World Cup. Mm-hmm. They're the ones that's paying their hard-earned money to watch their team play, and they've conceded 9 goals and scored 1. And then the players, I don't blame them entirely. I know they got the onus is on them to go out and perform, and put top end performances. But if what's going on behind the scenes is absolute calamity, it's a hindrance to the players. What's your take on this?
I think it was a knee-jerk reaction. I think any team that gets beaten 5-1 has to take action, whether that's change the team, change the manager, coaching staff. It's easier to change the manager than change the coaching staff and the players, because it's time. Time is a factor. They're playing game after, and they haven't got time to bring in a whole gamut of new people. So the manager will go. But the problem is they've changed the manager, but they haven't changed the playing staff or the players. So although the new managers come in, nothing else has changed. So them getting beaten 4-0 wasn't surprising, because yes, you changed the manager, but you haven't changed.
Yeah, you can't really change the players.
You can't change the players.
Those players have been selected, that 23-man squad.
And you got... go on.
So, you can't change the players. You can change the starting lineup, but then those players that got trounced 5-1 to Sweden, those players will come on eventually, because you can't play 11 players and do the whole game because it's so hot out there. So, would you have sacked the manager straight after match day 1, or would you have... if there was issues in and around the dressing room, would you have sacked the manager before the World Cup even started?
Well, I thought...
how would you have dealt with this?
I think they qualified. So obviously the manager did something right.
Yeah.
So by qualifying for a World Cup, it gives you a pass. It gives you the opportunity to then show what you can do in an environment where there are international stars, teams, players, billions of TV audience. It gives a manager an opportunity, a shop window. So he had a great opportunity to show not just what he's about, but also what the Moroccan national team is, the Moroccan football. It was a showcase for them, and they flopped, basically.
Yeah, I think you meant to say Tunisian football team, not Morocco.
Tunisian. Sorry, Tunisian football team.
Yeah, Ken's got Morocco on
I
his
don't know why I
here.
got Morocco on my mind. Yeah, so I think that's what it is. So Tunisia had the opportunity. They were in the shop window. Everything was there for them. And they flopped their lines, and they tried to redress it, and they flopped their lines again. So I think,
Will they sack their manager after the 3rd loss of this World Cup? Because they're out of the World Cup now. They can't. There's no coming back.
I don't think it matters now, because they're not there. So they can do what they want. Nobody cares now. They're not going to qualify. They're playing for pride. So Plonkers of the week, maybe Tunisian Federation, but then... There could be many plonkers in that camp, so it's hard to direct who should actually give the award to.
Yeah, we should have an actual trophy. So, Ken, nomination number 2. So, would you like to talk about nomination number 2 for me?
Yeah, Cape Verde manager. Basically, he was upset because he felt that Uruguayan manager, who is Bielsa, who used to manage Leeds United, the play was very unsportsmanlike. Simply what happened was they were on the pitch. Cape Verde player had cramp. The Uruguayan player, was helping him. Suddenly the ball broke. The team attacked. He basically said, you know what? Thank you, but no thanks. He went off. I think they went up. They scored 2-2.
Yeah, I didn't actually see the game. So
no, I didn't see the game, but
but
this has actually happened. So... he was upset. The Cape Verde manager was upset because he felt that they should have kicked the ball out, or something should have happened. They shouldn't have just played on. But as you know, it's a game, and it's a high stakes game. This is the World Cup. Now, if you was on the pitch, Matt, and you was attending to a player and then the ball broke and there was an opportunity, you're 2-1 down, there's an opportunity, what would you do?
Oh, that's a very good question. I don't know what I'll do. The competitive player in me wants to go and get the equaliser because, you know, you don't get many opportunities at a World Cup to impress. It's very difficult to get points on the board, and Cape Verde's done well to get 2 points. They've won the opening 2 games, and I wish them well for their third game. On the flip side, the sportsmanship, my sportsmanship hat will come into play as well, because I'll be like, oh, should I do what Paolo Di Canio did and, you know, pick the ball up and stop play? Because that's what he did, you know, when I think it was the Everton goalkeeper. He went fed up. He went to the ground. I think he did his quadricep, if I remember rightly, because this was over 25 years ago now. And then the cross came in from the West Ham winger, and then all that Di Canio had to do was just knock the ball into the goal, and he just caught it. So I've got the sportsmanship hat on me, and I'm torn. It's like, oh, so I've got my competitive hat on, I've got my sportsmanship hat on, so I'm not too sure what I'll do in that situation. I think it depends what mood I'm in.
Well, being a ex-football player myself, I would have done exactly the same thing. I understand that we've got to help our opponent. That's fair enough. We've got to help people. But this is a World Cup. We're losing. Yes, you got cramp. My team's losing. Your cramp's you're going to have to deal with it yourself.
Yeah.
We're going to score.
Yeah, they only saw the referee to stop the game.
Yeah, and he didn't have to.
Yeah.
It wasn't a head injury. He doesn't have to. So, fair play to the attacker. Federico Vines, good on you, bruv.
Yeah, nomination number 3 is the Uruguay attacker. Has Federico Vines. I don't know.
No. That was part of the second one.
I'm sorry. Sorry, I read the wrong thing.
He's an attacker that basically looked up. Oh, my team's attacking. As I said, he stopped the cramp, stopped helping the player. They went on to score. As I said, it's a World Cup. The gloves are off.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think the Plonker is the Cape Verde manager because he can't have no complex. If the boot was on the other foot, do you understand? He wouldn't be sitting there saying that.
Okay,
you know
well, I've got one more plonker for you, Ken, before you make your judgment call. My plonker of the week is still the Tunisian Football Association, but I've got one more for you. I don't know how to say this name, so forgive my pronunciation, Ken, and the listeners here. So, Rade Bogdanovic. He once played for Atletico Madrid, Werder Bremen, and Yugoslavia during his playing career. He was commentating on the Belgian game. At the final whistle after the 0-0 draw with Iran, he was working as a pundit on Serbian TV for Belgium's game against Iran on Sunday. And then he expressed a racist view. So this is what he said. At this level, to beat the last defender, to miss a ball that is standing still and then got sent off. I always said that these players, I'm not racist, but black players don't have the concentration to last more than 60 to 80 minutes, and that's the view of Bogdanovic.
Yeah. What do you think?
Well, you can't be... First things first, racism is not allowed in any walk of life. It's... I can't fathom or can't believe that he would actually say something like that on live TV, and that will go globally. I know he's doing it for Serbian TV, but it's going globally. It's going to be to news in every corner of the world. I don't know what's possessed him to say anything of that nature, of that ilk. I think he's the biggest plonker of them all. I just can't believe that he would actually say that on live TV. He's similar to that obviously the tennis player from last week that we talked about. I know he wasn't saying anything racial, but he was swearing repeatedly.
Yeah.
I mean, he has to have his professional hat on and realise, look, I have to be... I'm known for my football expertise. I need to be very impartial. I need to know... I need to be respectful. It doesn't matter what ethnic background or where the other players have come from. You have to be a professional and be able to call the game as you see it, not based on anyone's skin colour or religion or anything. So I just can't... I'm still reading this right now, Ken, and I just can't believe that he would say something like this.
It shows that although this is 2006 we're living in, there's still individuals who might not say it, but thoughts like this are being thought about. Thankfully he got caught saying it. Hopefully he gets reprimanded, he gets taken off air. But it just goes to show that it's still prevalent in a game where they're talking about it being unified and football is for everyone, which we want it to be. But until we can root out all these individuals like this, there's still going to be a small percentage of individuals that will spoil it for the majority. I can't believe he was on live TV and he said that. But it's just a view that's not shared, thankfully, by the majority of people who are watching the World Cup.
Yeah, a lot of people have been offended by his remarks.
Of course,
because this has made global World Cup, global news over here, and it's been. I don't know has there been any sanctions to him? Has there been any reprimands or anything?
I don't know, but I'm assuming all the publicity that's been around this will affect him in the sense that he will be pulled off air. I doubt if he'll be representing Serbian TV again, or he might be, I don't know. Obviously, he'll have to apologise, but hopefully he will not be able to use live stream TV to publicise his thoughts again like this.
Yeah, I have seen Yes, I was looking at this. I've typed his name on Google, and I have seen he's since apologised.
That's all he has
for racist comments he made towards black players during the World Cup broadcast. He says, "I sincerely apologise for my statement regarding black football players. RTS has also issued an official apology, saying Bogdanovic is not employed by the company that has been working as an expert commentator for this summer's tournament. We would like to take this opportunity to apologise as a broadcaster for the statement made in our programme concerning members of a particular race."
There you go.
So
he doesn't.
All it is just an apology. So there's no indication that he's going to be taken off air or been taken off, been suspended. There's no indication of that. So do you think that apology is that enough?
I think that's all we're going to get from him. But I hope that TV station don't give him another opportunity to air a view like this again. He says it's not his view, but obviously it is. So I don't think he should be given another opportunity, and I think he thoroughly deserves Plonker of the Week.
I totally agree. Yeah, he gets my vote for Plonker of the Week. We should send a Plonker of the Week trophy on over to him. I just need his address. Okay. If anyone knows Radu Bogdanovic's address, please send it to here, and we'll try to send him a trophy, golden trophy. It says Plonker of the Week. So yeah.
Thank you, Matt. Time has beaten us. We appreciate all those who stayed on with us and listened intently to our show. All those on WhatsApp, silent listeners on the talk. We're not on the talk, but we'll be on the talk soon, hopefully. I hope you enjoyed us this evening. We talked about the state of the pitches. Hopefully that doesn't dampen your enthusiasm for the World Cup. Hydration breaks. Are you for them or against them? Well, you make your decision. Does Portugal need CR7? Well, that's open to debate. I'm sure as the tournament goes on, you'll see that for yourself. And Plonker of the Week, we have Rada
Bogdanovic.
There you go. I said it without moving my lips. Thank you and good night. Good night from me, KJB.
And good night from Matt. Have a good weekend and keep watching football and check not everything needs to be checked by VAR. It's just vibes.
Excellent. Thank you and good night.